Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day like I am. We're going to take a look at LRC, Loopring, and before we do, we'll jump into Bitcoin as well, get a quick understanding of what's going on there. I think it's important just based on the fact that Bitcoin is misbehaving lately, and we've seen a bit of a decrease in price, right? It's interesting when your altcoin portfolio goes down 15% in 24 hours, isn't it? All right, well, thankfully we were able to catch the dip before it happened, but regardless of that fact, we are on the 4-hour chart in a potential concerning situation. There's a death cross forming here. There's a strong chance we might see a decrease in the price based on that sentiment alone. However, on the one-day candlestick, kind of conflicting information. We got the 50-day simple moving average working as a support level, moving up. I don't think that's going to hold personally, based on the fact that Bitcoin is exuding, short-term bearish qualities. I think long-term we're still good for 80 to 100,000. That's no problem. But right now here, I think it's pretty safe to say that that's roughly where we're at for the moment. Okay, so all in all, not terrible, not great. More so again bearish on the micro for Bitcoin, but the macro I'm bullish. If that makes any sense to you. Now, before we jump into LRC, if you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. This is always for educational purposes only, and the reason why is because I love teaching. I love helping people become better traders and better with their money. I've done other things in the past as well, helping people get on track with their budgeting, but when it comes to crypto, it's like one of the easiest, coolest things that you can really do. And I say easy because I've been doing it for 15 years. It kind of becomes second nature, but I like to be able to teach. So that's why I have a trading community designed with that specific purpose in mind. So feel free to join that. It's linked through Patreon. It's linked in the description below. I basically share all my trades that I take with my members. I send out signals. You can one click follow if you want, or just more importantly, learn a lot and become a better trader. I'm really excited for the bear market coming up as well, by the way, because there's a tremendous amount of money to be made there too. Either way, look at the one-day chart here for LRC. You can see we've got a bit of a candlestick here, a little bit of a red stick here. And that's kind of, I think it's referred to as a gravestone, if I'm not mistaken. And that does typically kind of, just tell us that we could see a reversal soon. But that reversal is typically to the downside, right? In other words, it's tried to come up here and it got rejected. So it basically started here, came up, and it finished here, for lack of better terms. This candlestick hasn't closed yet, so don't worry about that yet. It just means that we're kind of trending towards a likely decrease in price, and there's a chance that we might see Loopring come a little bit lower based on that sentiment alone. Okay. Keep in mind too, Loopring is still overextended in my personal opinion as far as how low the price was and how high it got. I mean, we saw about 300 or 400% increase in about 3 trading days, so it makes sense it's still going down. It has to kind of go down and consolidate and retrace. Another thing to note as well is we saw November 10th, the price went really high on the 10th. That was the same day we saw Bitcoin sell off. And then just recently, last 3 days in a row, we can see it's kind of synonymous with Bitcoin losing a lot of its momentum in the last 24 to 48 hours. Therefore, it's important to identify that it is susceptible to Bitcoin sell-offs, which Bitcoin may not be done yet, just so you know. So we're back under RSI 70. That's pretty standard for the situation. Basically just means we lost that bullish momentum. And if you kind of equivocate 70 on the RSI to a resistance level, you're looking at about $2.80 being kind of a reaffirmed resistance level based on the RSI itself. Looking at the MACD, bearish divergence incoming. Get prepared for that. Now, one-day candlesticks, or one-day chart rather, doesn't matter too much in my opinion for the MACD. That's not like a super strong indicator. The 4-hour chart is a bit better, but that tells us big picture LRC is on the downside, right? Short term might be a different story. Let's go ahead and identify that. Let's take a look here at Loopring. We are under 50 still in the RSI. Not a good sign at all. We don't like to see that. That is unfortunate because that's basically just meaning that it's still in bearish divergence scenario / town, whatever. And if you look at this guy here, you wouldn't think that it could go much lower, but yes, it definitely can. So don't ever expect that just because you have the 12-day moving up closer to the 26 in an upward fashion, that we're going to get a convergence and the price is going to explode the other way. That doesn't always happen. Right? It's more likely to happen because that reversal in momentum, that shift, but it doesn't always happen, right? Because again, you got to understand the history. Loopring's overextended still. So it's still in the downswing. I don't think it's going to come right back up and ramp back up like some of these other coins have been doing, based on the sheer fact that it's one of the larger coins in regard to how much it moved in such a short amount of time. Right? IOTX did the same thing. It jumped up and came down, retraced about 70% of its original starting point. So this is not really a surprise to me, I guess you could say. That being said, mostly bearish qualities on the 1-day and the 4-hour charts. Let's see if the small time frame kind of gives us any hope. So taking a look at the 1 hour chart. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the Ichimoku cloud, kind of see what's going on. We're below the cloud, traveling into it. Actually, no, we just dropped below it, so that's not a good sign. The lead is above the baseline, lead is below the baseline, so that basically just implies that we have that bearish divergence as well. So there's really no indication of a buy signal here at all. Now, if you're the kind of person that really truly believes in Loopring, we are closing in on a support level of $2.47. It has proven to hold in the past, so if you're kind of a dollar cost average kind of person, wouldn't be terrible to consider taking a small position now and adding to your position to lower your average price. But I can tell you, though, that there's nothing here telling us that the price is going to reverse and turn around quickly. Okay, so we don't see that just yet. So just to be honest with you, I don't see that, honestly. I wouldn't invest at this point. Even if I was dollar cost averaging, I'd probably wait a little longer because it doesn't feel like this support level here. However, it was tested one time. I don't know if it's going to hold, honestly, just based on its trajectory here. It doesn't look good. Now, volume could tell us a little bit about that. We have an increased amount of volume, so that is a good sign. Oftentimes when you have increased volume, it shows that there is a battle between the bulls and the bears, and they're trying to figure it out, and this could be a very good volume profile range. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at that and see. We have the most amount of volume in this time frame, mostly above the price action, but close to where it's at too. So I'd say 263 to 292, we have the most amount of volume, so that does kind of reaffirm that we're kind of in a support zone. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to just jump right up because of that, right? Because a lot of the volume is where it's at and above. That could potentially be considered a resistance. It's very similar to a volume weighted average price, where it kind of weights the volume and tells us that we're either overextended or underextended. In this case, we're kind of just right in that zone. So I would say that, somewhere in the range of 245 to 280 is a support channel. And if we lose that support channel, look out. Right? So just be mindful of that. Now, big picture here, where are we going to go in the near future? I personally feel like we might lose supports at 247 and the price might continue down. So by no means am I telling you to sell your position. I'm just saying to be patient and to effectively consider adding to your position if it goes lower. We need to make sure that this candlestick can hold. And when I say candlestick, I'm referring to the one-day candlestick, because you got to bear in mind we have this it's not negative, but it's not good. Like the candlestick here, it's an inverted hammer, but I'm pretty sure it's referred to as a gravestone, which just implies that the starting point was low, came all the way up and came right back down to the same place in the same day, and it's leading into 2 prior red days. So tomorrow could be a green day, but I think today might still continue to be red. So we're going to pay attention to this here and take a closer look maybe later today or tomorrow to identify what that looks like to ensure we keep a close eye on it. But there's really no bullish indications whatsoever that LRC is going to turn around. And this candlestick, if it closes close to where it's at presently, and just say we get closer to a bottom close, if it closes even lower than where we're at, that would be a significant bearish quality. And another thing to note too is we have this this line kind of coming down here, right? So if you kind of look at this based on the support level, traditionally speaking, they drop down, but keep this in mind as well with the fact that it has a ramp up here from before. They could imply that we might see breakout soon as well. So I'm not trying to concern you and think that the bottom is just going to drop out. That may not happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if we consistently test that support level at 247. So it wouldn't be a terrible idea to consider adding to your position if you are still bullish on LRC. I think long-term, big picture, it does have good qualities. But right now, short term, it's all I wouldn't say doom and gloom, but it's not ideal. But this pattern here that's forming does imply that we could see a breakout to the upside in the next couple days. It just may not. What could happen, I've seen this happen plenty of times before in the past. It breaks right below that support, hits this next level of support, and then it ramps up. So there's a strong chance we could see 218, 217, somewhere in that range again. And if so, that would be a good consideration to add to your position, and then we can expect a breakout to the upside. But again, we'll take a closer look at this here. This has some conflicting information, but mostly bearish in the overall sense of the word, right? So that's kind of where we're at. So just kind of take that as you will. But I hope you found benefit here today, and we'll look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's video. If you're not already a patron, consider subscribing in case you want to get signals for situations like this where I send out signals for every single trade that I take. But more importantly, there's a trading community. Awesome experience. We just reached 200 members recently as well. So thank you so much to my patrons. I love and appreciate you deeply. We'll see you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. You take care. Thank you.